one of us here and now. It being God. It's been said the longest journey we may take is the steps that we take each day, one by one, moving through our adventure of life. And as we mature spiritually, we know that we become aware of what this life is truly all about. That with God all things are possible, and with God at the center of who we are, possibilities are ours by how we think, what we do, how we travel, what we say, how we perceive this wonderful life. We learn that consciousness is our experience. Consciousness allows us to think, to be, to reveal, and have the gifts that come to us as we open those gifts, unwrap them, and take them into our life. Because what we give our attention to becomes our experience. We are our own experience. That was said by a minister some time ago, Dr. Tom Johnson, and who really believed and who gave the essence that as we are, as we believe, so it becomes our experience. And as we become aware of what is going on, we see that we can, through the thought process that we have, we can form a thought that creates our well-being. In this philosophy, we call it a mental equivalent. Big word, mental equivalent. But as an idea comes to us, we choose what to think about our idea. We put it into action. We put it into the idea, to the form that says, okay, I can do this. I can have this. I can be it. And so we begin to form in our mental equivalent what it is that we see, what we see in our mind's eye, what becomes possible, what becomes a reality that brings these great things into our life. And so as we begin to reveal this idea, it's like planting a seed in the ground. What happens? You plant the seed in the ground and you water it. And because you put in a daffodil bulb, you know that it's going to come up a daffodil bulb and it's going to flower and be beautiful. And the color is absolutely radiant. And I love daffodils because they kind of make me smile. I look at them and I think, oh, this is life, this is nature, this is goodness. And so as we begin to put those seeds, our ideas, into our fertile mind, knowing that as we believe it, as we conceive it, we will achieve what it is that we have been putting our thought to. Now that's a pretty big experience. That's a pretty big idea. That's a pretty big thing to be thinking about. But consider what's going on in your life. What is going on in your life right now is everything you've done, said, been, gone, had, and you're here because of that. How does that feel? It gives us pause to know that we have created our own experience, that we have begun, and probably have through this philosophy and through being in the center and taking classes and being with like-minded people, that we begin to take responsibility for who we are. We respond to the ability that is ours, to respond to that gift that has been given. That God says, Sheila, with all things are possible. And as I step into that and begin to acknowledge it, planting and fertilizing and watering the seed, whoa, an idea comes. An idea that comes to me from where? From my choosing to the desire to create something new. How inspiring is that? We've just moved into 12 days of this wonderful new year. And where are we? Is that exciting? Have you sat down and thought, wow, I've got 350 days in order to create a better, a better year than 2013. 2013 was great, would you say? It allowed us to be who we were. It allowed us to move into new expression. It allowed people to get new opportunity of employment, to be excited about what they're doing, to know that they do make a difference. Boy, is that revelation, is that refreshing? Is that something that we can really, really tune into? I'm talking today, I love this topic, it's called No Deposit, No Return. Now, what do you think that means? Well, for me, and hopefully for you, as we deposit an idea into our mental bank account, what takes place? The desire, the priming of the pump, the planting of the seed allows us to become aware of what is possible, what can take place, what is this great thing called life. And as we deposit these wonderful ideas and they come forward as the return to what we have been giving our attention to, life looks pretty good. Life becomes exciting. Life becomes that thing that says, I can do this. I always say miracles come in cans. I can do it. I can be it. I can have it. But what is it? It's that wonderful expression of life, that expression of me that allows me to be who I am. In the Star Wars movies, they said, let the Force be with you. I say, let the power be with us, each one of us. That power that fills us to the tip and top of our being that says, yes, you are my beloved, and I am so well pleased. God has given us life to express. God has given us life to be. So what are we going to do with this? This is a gift. This is the promise of this new year. And you're all sitting there looking at me and you have smiles on your face and this is all beginning to gel. And you know what? It's an inside job. What do I mean by that? It starts right where we are. It starts inside with what we're thinking. What are we thinking about what we're doing? Are we giving it energy? Are we giving it vitality? Do we believe in it? Is it possible? With God, all things are possible. So what is our intention? What is it that we truly, truly want to experience? You know, in the world, they talk about assets and liabilities, profit and loss, goodness and not so goodness. So when we sit down and put our profit and loss statement together, the assets on one side and the liabilities not so good on the other side, I will guarantee you that the assets outweigh the liabilities. When you look at all the assets that you are, you know, the T, assets, liabilities. Assets are going to weigh way, way over here. And the liabilities you look at and you get in tune with, and it's like, okay, that's not so bad. I can change that. I can get a new perspective. I can see it as being something different than what I had originally thought it to be. I can take this and do something with this, because what this allows me to do is change my opinion on what is over here and get focused on what's over here. Does that make sense? That we look at the good, and bless it. Now you're all sitting there and you all have good. All of you. There isn't one of you sitting here that doesn't have an abundance of goodness. Now doesn't that feel good? That's the good news. That's the good news, that we're here today, that we're sitting upright, that we got out and up and are here because this is where we choose to be. Oh, I love that. Because on the other side of that, if we didn't and don't use the goodness that surrounds us and the choices and the vitality that we have, we become stuck. And when we become stuck, what happens? Nothing. We become stuck in old ideas. We become stuck in what has been. And none of you are has-beens. You're all to this day as good quality people. The essence and goodness of God. So when we put our thought process into play, it becomes exciting. It really becomes exciting. When you've had an idea and you think, gee, where did that come from? I'm feeling a little like I want to do something different, especially as we move into a new year, especially if we move into a new environment, into a new position of employment, into a new class that we're taking. It's unlimited goodness that allows us to perk up, to know that we show up and are connected with this wonderful spirit that is within. We become quiet. We go back to the center of our being and know that this is truly good for us, that this idea has come to me as a deposit in my mental bank account. What could be greater? What could be greater than to use the gifts that we have, to use the goodness that surrounds us, to play the music that we heard this morning, to have two lovely ladies here that are connected in blood, in love, in goodness, and to share their gifts with us. That's just absolutely incredible. And we all sitting here have our own special gift. Think about it. What is it? What is it that you want to do? What is it that speaks to you? What is it that is conjuring up back here and is beginning to percolate? And when that takes place, it's important that we allow it to percolate. We allow it to generate and rejuvenate itself in our thought processes, because as we water it and nurture it and believe it, it comes into form. Wow, isn't that exciting? We've all been there. We've all done that. It's that excitement that gets the pump primed. Now, if we're sitting here and we've got the idea and that old stuff, the committee back here says, what are you thinking? Do you really think you can do that? Do you really believe that you're able to think and bring into demonstration, into manifestation, what it is you're thinking? Because if that's going on, you gotta get rid of it, because it's gonna keep you stuck. And who wants to stay stuck? We've got 350 days that we can begin to percolate. We can begin to know how good this is. I know for me, if I'm experiencing difficulty, worry, strife, anxiety, I have to really sit back and say, Sheila, what's the matter with you? You know better than this. What's going on? What is really going on? And when I begin to take inventory, it's usually about something that I'm trying to get to move into my space. Anybody been there? God says, get your bloated nothingness out of the way, because I have the right idea for you. Sit back and listen to me. Sit back and know I am here. Sit back and put your feet up, relax, and say, okay. Okay. And know that you truly can do this. Which requires a new way of thinking, a new thought. Get rid of the old and bring in the new. Isn't that what we're talking about, a new year? We let go of 2013, and here we are and sprung into 2014. So what's on your agenda? The agenda that we have for ourselves The agenda that allows us to be free, to have the choices, to sit in a room full of like-minded people and enjoy and be seen and heard and recognize that you have value, that you are very unique, very special. And once again, it's an inside job. So I ask myself when I come into any kind of challenge, I need to rearrange my house. I need to rearrange my mental house. What pieces of furniture do I want to move forward, get rid of? What outdated patterns am I holding on to? Boy, this takes courage, takes honesty, because it's so easy to sweep the stuff under the rug and say, well, because today may be stones, tomorrow is diamonds. And so if we don't clear out the closets, the storehouses, what happens? It, at some point, will come to the surface again. It's like coffee. It starts percolating, percolating, percolating. And so we need to begin to refurnish our house. What's keeping me restricted? What's keeping me limited? What is it that's got me stuck? It's like walking down the street and getting a piece of gum on your shoe and you can't get away from it. It keeps pulling you in and pulling you in. And so it's time to get out the profit and loss statement, the P and L, the assets and liabilities. What are my strong points? Where do I excel? What's taking place? Where are my strong points? Because we're really hard on ourselves. Anybody been there? Beat yourself up about I should have, if only I had, the couldas. And so we should on ourselves all the time because of, you heard me, I said should. Andy, I said should. That allows us, that should, that says, you know better than this. What is going on here? And boy, when that comes to the surface, I sit down, get in my chair, and say, okay, I've got to get back on center. I have to do my spiritual work. I have to do the spiritual practice. Out come the affirmations. Out come what is taking place. Call the practitioner. Call the healing ministry. Because, boy, you don't want to hang on to this stuff very long. It's very detrimental to your health and well-being. So a new picture needs to come into focus. Probably all of you sitting out there have access to a camera. And a camera works just like our mind. We see the picture. We put the camera up, we look at it through the lens, and we focus it to get it clearer and clearer and clearer. And snap, we take the picture. And now you can see it immediately, which is so great. Because if it isn't focused, what do? You take another picture until you get it in focus. Because that's how life expresses as us. The clarity, the balance, the goodness, that inner essence that says to me at that moment, I can do it. I can truly do it. When I discover something that no longer serves me, it's up to me to say goodbye. I don't need you anymore. You're not serving me. I'm going to replace you with what? A new thought. I'm going to thank you very much. Thank you very much. You've given me the ability to look at where I am. You've given me the ability to see, focus with clarity what it is that resonates to me. That idea that's conjuring up here. To put the barrier down and allow it to spring forward, to allow it to come in and sit down and say, here I am. I am the gift. Sometimes, as I think the gift should be this. This. And the gift comes and it's something else. Because I know how this operates for me, it's important that I open the gift that comes that I wasn't expecting. Because, guess what? It's always better. Because God knows, and I trust God to know what is right and true for me. And so I unwrap that, sit it out, and look at it and say, yes, I can accept that. I can be that. I can do that. So my deposit in my mental bank account has given me the return of something glorious. The return of something that I can really embody, embrace, acknowledge, recognize, and take into my heart for my very own. Because it's come to me at the right time. See, there's no time in the mind of God. It just is. We're the ones that wear watches. We're the ones that look at the time. We're the ones that say, it has to be now. Oh, I've been there. Want it right now, and it doesn't come. And in my former days, it was God isn't listening. Yeah, God's listening. God's just saying, Sheila, it's not time now. Sit down, shut up, and be aware of what's taking place. That recognition, that acknowledgement that says yes. Those words, yes, because God always says yes. Always. And so what is it that you want God to say yes to? Yes, I am valuable. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I have it. Yes. It's a beautiful word. And the ability to know that and to reveal that and accept that is the gift that we deposit into our mental bank account. So isn't it wonderful to think about taking out your deposit slip and filling it out and knowing without a doubt that when you place that as a deposit into your mental bank account up here that allows you to think and have and be, that the return is heaped up and overflowing. Now, doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good to know that you are always taken care of, that you're never alone, that you have the ability and the respondability to put this stuff in action, to move forward into a new dimension, to plant your seed into your fertile mind and water it and love it and believe it and nurture it. And don't go out and pick it up to make sure it's growing. If you plant an idea, you've got it planted. When we plant carrots, we don't go out and pick them up to make sure they're carrots because we know they are. It's the same thing with an idea. When we place that idea into our mind, oh man, it goes bananas. It just says, yes, she's got it. She finally got it. And you know, when you release that thought, knowing, believing, accepting, celebrating it, you know, everyone sitting here knows that it begins right then. It begins at the moment that you say, and so it is. Giving thanks for it, knowing this stuff works. TSW, this stuff works. And it continues to work on a moment-by-moment basis. There are no accidents. There are no accidents while you're all sitting here. Everything brings you to the right place at the right time, the right moment, with all the right people, with all the right ingredients. It's like cooking. When you get out the recipe and you use all the right measurements and ingredients and all that stuff, you receive what it is that you decided to eat, that you decided to prepare. Put it in the oven, put it on the stove. It comes out and it's wonderful. And everybody sitting there says, "Oh, you're amazing. You're amazing." And you all are amazing, because that's the gift that's been given to you. It is so refreshing. It is so refreshing to stand here and see all of your wonderful faces and to know how much greatness is in store for you at the very center of who you are, of the blessing that you are, that you're able to give and receive and give. It's absolutely fabulous. In our song this morning, we said, open your hearts, open your eyes, feel the freedom, and know and be. That is liberating. That is where we all are. That's where this philosophy allows us to step into and be, to be the greatness that we truly are. Life is a gift. And celebrate it, expecting and accepting the very best. Treat yourself to life. It's fabulous. You all know that. And you're all beginning and doing it on a regular basis. So I ask you today to open your heart and your mind and deposit into your mental bank account these wonderful gifts that are yours. To know that the return is absolutely unlimited. And I ask you now, if today you have a desire, a deposit you are considering, but may not know how to move forward to fill out your deposit slip, the gifted practitioner to assist you this morning with your desire is Eloise Newell.